You might think the modern smartwatch doesn't have much in common with its century-old mechanical ancestor, but tell him, Mr. Frakes.
It's false. No way. Not this time.
That's right. As different as they look, all these watches pack the same basic guts. Just like 100 years ago, when manufacturers would put the same mechanical movement into a bunch of different cases to sell different styles. That's why the Fossil Group has the widest selection of smartwatches running Google's platform. But watch out for the double-edged sword. That same platform is what makes them tougher to recommend. To be clear, this is not an ad for Fossil Group. There are other compelling WearOS options out there, like the Montblanc Summit 2, the Movado Connect 2, etc. But the reason I've been so fixated on Fossil Group lately is the sheer volume of options they give you. Now, I've been test driving 3 of them for about a month: the Michael Kors Lexington 2, the Diesel On Axial, and Emporio Armani Connected 3. Now, these are all based on what I consider to be the prototypical 5th-generation platform, Fossil's own Carlyle HR, which I've been wearing on and off for about 4 months. Since they all share that same Gen 5 core, they all pack the latest features, like a built-in speaker and microphone for talking to Google Assistant and taking calls, even, thanks to custom Fossil software, on an iPhone. GPS? Check. NFC for mobile payments? Yes. Wi-Fi for when your phone isn't near? Here. They all even use the same charger. At this point, Fossil and its partner brands have figured out most of the basics pretty well, too. All the screens are vibrant, all the casings are swim-proof, and all these have 2 pushers and a rotating side button. And that's no minor detail. That active crown makes using a smartwatch incalculably more enjoyable. If you're thinking of buying a WearOS watch that doesn't have one, well, don't. Let's talk about the styling that sets them apart. The Lexington 2 from Michael Kors is absolutely trying the hardest to look nice, and in some ways, it succeeds. I love a watch with heft, and with its metal bracelet, this thing has plenty of it. But I also don't like it when a watch only looks good with one bracelet style, particularly one that requires you to pop out these fiddly pins to adjust its size. On the flip side is the Armani, which has these playful color options for the aluminum casing and whose rubber band can easily be swapped out. It's too light for me, but probably a great fit for you if you need a watch that looks just as good at the dinner table as it does on the treadmill. Just be careful around the crystal. I'm not sure what this is made of, but I've never been able to scratch a watch this easily. I don't even know how I did it. And for those who really want to turn up the beefometer, well, as usual, Diesel has you covered. It looks like a pipe flange strapped to a belt, with button textures that look ready to peel off your fingerprints. I feel like this is the kind of watch you'd buy if you drove a Cybertruck. And if you missed my video test ride in that thing, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss another one. Anyway, the choice in hardware there is the biggest advantage WearOS has over the other platforms, and it's a big reason I've been using it for years. But more recently, I've come to realize that that choice in hardware just isn't enough for me to overlook my issues with the software. The initial setup is really slow. Don't do this off the charger because it takes so long to get through the updates you won't make it through the morning. And a customer's first exposure to WearOS is this very slow tutorial that's beset with connection issues. Even after you're set up, there's just bug after bug. The watches will randomly disconnect from the phone every so often. Periodically, they'll stop buzzing your wrist for notifications, even though the alert is delivered. I tried giving Google Fit my health info on one of these, and it just wouldn't save. Why? I don't know. Sometimes the rotating side button just doesn't work. Why? I don't know. WearOS can't even tell time reliably. Most of this stuff is Google's fault. It needs to fix WearOS, and maybe its recent acquisition of Fitbit will help it do that. But the individual brands have their own hiccups, too. Diesel, in particular, ships this watch face that, as far as I can tell, mainly exists to serve up mild insults every few minutes, which is sort of funny, but it's also slow, and it also breaks the RSB. Also, Fossil hasn't had the greatest reputation for quality control. Hop on over to the WearOS subreddit and you'll find reports of charging rings popping off in the latest generation, which is not a new problem. I can end this on a positive note, because that Fossil Carlyle HR I first went hands-on with back in the summer, well, I promised more thoughts after I'd used it for a while, and you know, I kind of love it, despite WearOS. It looks terrific. I love the practical yet refined balance Fossil has struck here, especially with the custom Jack Mason band I stuck on. I appreciate that I don't have to go hunt down a ton of watch faces, because Fossil bundles in over 50 out of the box. I like the custom battery modes, which help it last a little longer, or a lot longer, depending on how many features you want to give up. These modes are available on all the watches in this video. And I like knowing that if any of the hardware issues I've read about do crop up, I can take it into a Fossil retail store and be assured that they'll take care of me. Because Fossil has a great reputation for customer service. The company informed me that that charging ring popping off problem is known to them. It's only affecting a small batch of units, apparently. But regardless, affected customers can just take them into a store and they'll get taken care of. Now, is all that enough to earn a recommend? Well, if the watch goes on sale like it just did before this review for something like $100 off, then yeah, that's a good deal. If that happens again, jump on it, and if I see it, I'll drop a link in the description. But at the full price of $295, or $350 for Diesel, or $375 for Armani, or even $262 for Michael Kors, I want to say yes, because I want to recognize the awesome hardware and design work these companies have put in. But until WearOS is better, and remains reliably better for more than a handful of weeks before something else breaks, well, recommending Google-powered smartwatches will continue to be pretty difficult. Fortunately for we consumers, the competition has not been sitting still. Stay tuned for a fun review of some Garmin wearables coming up. And I'm going to try to get a hold of the folks who have licensed the Moto 360 name for that new device. It's not Motorola, but it could be fun anyway. Check out Android Central for a forthcoming review on that as well. This review was produced following 4 months with various Gen 5 review samples provided by Fossil Group. I don't produce paid reviews though, no compensation changed hands, and Fossil was not offered a preview of this video prior to publication. That means they're seeing it for the first time right alongside you. Please subscribe and share this video if you'd like to see more like it on YouTube. Until next time, thanks for watching, and stay mobile, my friends.